You have top trade negotiators for the U.S. and China say that they have come to terms on a range of fairly contentious points.
Those soybeans were always going to be on the market. It's a global market. The three leading suppliers are Brazil, Argentina, and the U.S. And I believe that we have brought the market back into equilibrium. And I believe that the Chinese will be making substantial purchases again. Anticipating that we will get some kind of a deferral on the rare earth export controls that the Chinese had discussed.
Okay.
But again, this will all be, my counterpart, the vice premier, and I have set the framework, and it will be up to the two leaders to discuss the final terms.
All right, let's bring in our China correspondent, Minmin to break this all down for us here. So what did we reach a key consensus on? What's still missing right now?
Yeah, overall, it seems like a very productive weekend, at least from the Chinese side. The Commerce Ministry saying it was in-depth, it was constructive, and there were a list of things that they sort of had a framework consensus on, right, ranging from agricultural imports to fentanyl to shipping levies. The Chinese readout was a little bit vague. They talked about the key themes, but we don't really know what the Chinese is getting out of this deal. The U.S. side has been a little bit more outspoken. They've been saying that China is going to buy a significant amount of soybeans, that they're going to defer the implementation of those rare earth export controls by a year. But I can't see China really agreeing to all of these without some big concessions from the U.S. But so far, the U.S. is saying that they're going to keep their export controls unchanged, even though they're going to sort of remove all those threats of extra additional 100% tariffs on Chinese goods. So what else is China getting out of this? That is not so clear at this point. And certainly China will want the tariffs to come down to be on par with other countries. That's also something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, but the starting point on tariffs, though, was Donald Trump ratcheting up that rate, and then if that comes out to be the only win, that's a bit of a mental exercise for me. Ukraine and Taiwan, where Marco Rubio said Taiwan wasn't on the table. Was it on the table? Is it going to be on the table?
Well, we're hearing different things. So Marco Rubio said that it's not going to be on the table, but President Trump on Air Force One kind of left it a little bit open. He refused to answer the question directly from reporters, saying that he doesn't want to talk about it now. The trip is already very complex as it is, but he's sort of less definitive about this. So possibly it's still going to be on the table because President Trump did mention that he wants to talk about the Ukraine war and get to a peace deal on that with China. He wants to discuss the lowering of these purchases of Russian oil, which China has already done. Right, Chinese state oil company has been cutting purchases of some of these sanctioned oil from Russia. But bear in mind, analysts are saying that actually China buys a lot of these oil from intermediaries. So while they might cut the direct purchases from the likes of Rosneft and Lukoil, they might get it from other sources, and they might not be willing to do a lot more given the strategic partnership between U.S. and China, unless they get a key concession, possibly on Taiwan. If the U.S. decide to roll back their long-standing stance on Taiwan and agree to oppose Taiwanese independence, then maybe we're talking about something here.
Okay, yeah, well, that's going to be quite something to look ahead to. Minmin, thank you so much, Minmin Lo, our China correspondent there.